I'm what we call in our family a cashew. Catholic on my mother's side, Jewish on my father's side. My mom is 8th of 10 kids Irish Catholic. And before my mom and dad got married, she made it clear to him that she wanted her kids to be raised Catholic. My dad wasn't going to convert, but he was open to the idea of raising his children Catholic because it was so important to my mom. Dad even studied the faith so he could answer any questions my siblings and I might have growing up. And Mom made sure we grew up to love Judaism too. Both sides of the family really welcomed each other. My Jewish grandmother even hosted my baptism party. I'm the oldest of 3 children, and for me, our family dining table is the most powerful image of our faith. It was just a plain old wooden table that my parents finally replaced a few years ago, but it was such a place of joy. That table was the spot where everything came together. It's where our meals were shared and where my mom taught CCD classes to a sometimes listening group of middle schoolers. It's where we gathered as my dad led the Passover Seder meal with matzah and wine and a great feast. And usually within a week or so, we'd be back there again to celebrate Easter. As I grew up, I started to see how both faith traditions emphasize taking care of those on the margins and working for justice. So much of what I know about what it means to be a dad, I learned from my father. He has always made a lot of sacrifices for our family, nothing bigger than raising my siblings and me as Catholics. And he has this quiet steadiness about him. You never knew if he was tired or not feeling well. He was always there and present to us, and his actions spoke volumes. He's also the king of dad jokes, which I try to emulate with my own kids. There's one Christmas I'll never forget. It was when my grandmother on my mom's side was getting toward the end of her life. We would usually be with her for Christmas, but we weren't sure if we were going to make it because there was a terrible snowstorm. My dad, however, was quietly determined to get there for my mom's sake. We piled into our minivan, ventured up the Jersey Turnpike. The storm turned an hour-long journey into 3. But we got there and we spent time with my grandmother. When we finished, it was around 10 o'clock at night, and we went out to the car and discovered that someone had slashed 2 of our tires on Christmas night. So we got the car towed and hopped into Pop-Pop's old Buick. I don't think it even had power steering. My dad drove us back another 3 hours down the turnpike, crawling along in a car that at any moment could give out. I was a young teenager, and I remember sitting in the back watching him. Through it all, my father didn't complain once. He made no fuss, never lost his temper. That's how my dad taught me how to be a man, and more importantly, a father. A lot of it is just being there for your kids, being on the floor, going along with whatever kind of imaginary game they want to play. It's the importance of showing up, being totally there. As my girls are getting older, they make up their own pretend games together. My son was born last November, and watching their relationships, their love, and their dynamics change are great moments. My wife and I try to balance our careers with our family life. With COVID, it's been a patchwork of working for a few hours, then switching off to watch the kids, then going back to work. In the evenings, I sit around the dinner table with my own wife and kids now. We share stories about growing up and the lessons we learned from our own families. We're passing our infant son back and forth like plates at our Seder meal, and we hope to pass our traditions of faith to our children as they learn and grow. I can't think of any better way to honor my dad than that.